What's going on, everybody? My name is Ode Osbourne, UFC flyweight, and this is Gwaan podcast. And if you don't know what Gwaan means, Gwaan in Jamaica means what's up. So I'm here with Sky Sinclair and Doni King, Mitch, Cynthia Calvillo. His last name is Ramirez. I just spaced it for a second, but it's okay. And yeah, man, we're here. So Mitch, man, what's going up with you, man? We're gonna take turns going around because there's a lot of us here tonight, and we're gonna see what happens.
Let's go. What's up with me?
Yeah, man. What's going on with you lately? I know you were supposed to have a fight. Actually, there was supposed to be something in the works, and I know that kind of fell through. So what happened with that?
Honestly, I was just told to be ready. So I was hoping to hop on something short notice for a Contender or something else, and then or whatever other opportunity might pop up from the UFC. So I was just told to stay ready and was thinking it might be a Contender opportunity, but Contender just ended tonight, so it's not going to be a Contender opportunity. So I'll just continue to do what I do, and that's train hard every day and kick whoever's ass who they put in front of me next.
Yeah, man. If you guys don't know Mitch Ramirez, man, he's been smashing people, like absolutely smashing people. Mitch is actually an undefeated pro fighter, and he got the wrestling, he got the hands, he got the jits, he got all the above. So check out my man Mitch Ramirez on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. He's cold-blooded, man. And so next to him, we can officially say girlfriend now because for the longest time,
yes.
So I trained with both Mitch and Cynthia. And for the longest time, these two would just come in and out the gym together, leave together like nobody knew. Like y'all, we knew what's going on. Come on now. Like they try to keep it a secret. Like I'm just like, stop it. So you guys are official. Tell me, Cynthia, how are you?
I'm doing great, just living the dream, being able to, do what I love every single day. And, I get to train, pretty much work out every day. And yeah, just happy, enjoying life here in Vegas and, just waiting for my next shot. Hopefully I'll fight in December or January and, just keep it going, climbing up to the top.
That's awesome. And so what weight class are you going to be hoping to fight?
So my last couple fights have been at 125, and I am going to go back down to 115, and I've not made that weight in about 2 years since before COVID. But that's the goal. I feel like I didn't do as well as a flyweight, so I'm going to move back down to 115. I'm fed at 125, and I feel like I'm a scarier fighter, hungry, So when I have to sacrifice a little bit more to make the weight, I mean, you all know what happens, when women don't eat, we get hangry, we get hangry, So if you starve me throughout the whole camp, I might kill you on fight night. Versus as a flyweight, I'm eating all camp. Everybody else on fight week is just dying, trying to make the weight. I'm over here taking a little bath, not even cutting water the entire time, and it just doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm, a little bit too nice. So I'm ready to get back down to 115 and starve and, go rip someone's head off.
I don't know about a little bit too nice. I've seen you in the room. You are an absolute dog. I don't know about that. Cynthia is an absolute dog. Speaking of absolute dog, Doni and Sky here. So, Sky, you are an absolute dog with how much MMA knowledge you know about the sport. Tell me, how did that come about? How did you get into MMA?
I work for the UFC.
Well, I'm talking about, okay, but I'm talking about before that, because you didn't just randomly just showed up and appeared. You've had to have an interest before that.
Yeah, for sure. Growing up, I was the youngest of four, and my older brothers used to be heavy into wrestling, and being the youngest, you get beat up on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just sitting there eating cereal, your brother's doing DDT on you.
Same here.
People's elbow.
I'm the youngest of four. I have two older brothers.
Yes.
Definitely. They beat me up. They were into fighting, WWE, everything. And I was just the little rag doll they throw around and everywhere. So
I apologize on behalf of the older brothers. I was one
Oh my goodness. I didn't have
two
any
younger
brothers.
sisters, and I may or may not have been doing the DDT. I was trying to just hang out, do some homework. Apologize,
People's
Chris Lindley. So, hey,
elbow,
they came out good though. They came out good.
See, that's
They
what I'm
live,
talking
they
about.
live.
And I blame all of my non-siblings that I didn't have for how I came out.
You didn't have anyone to beat up on?
No, I didn't have
Did
no
you
one
have
to
any
beat-
cousins?
I didn't have no one to beat up on. I had no one beat up on me. I was an only child, That's
Oh.
why. Yeah, You come on now, come on. You can't tell I'm an only child.
Yeah.
exactly. Danny, why you looking like that?
Well, yeah, I could tell you only child, definitely, most definitely. But yeah, I'm just I can't relate to the getting beat up and the DDT. I was like, what's that? What are they talking about? I didn't do the wrestling and the fighting. I mean, we wrestled, but we didn't do anything major like that. And of course, I was a tomboy. Not like anybody knows, but we had a good time wrestling and having a good time being athletic. But I didn't get into the UFC until Sky. Sky started working at the UFC, and then all of a sudden, it was every weekend. It was every day. And then I started getting my favorites. That's how I got to see Ode, because I was like, I love him. He's amazing. But you just get to see people's personalities and stuff like that. And so I was just like, yeah, then I start feeling like, I'm waiting for my call, because I'm sure they're looking at me like, Danny, if you make weight, you might be able to fight. Because when I see the screen and I'm just like, the lioness looked at me and I was like, she want to fight me.
For real, Danny has oh my God, her personality is so funny. Y'all gotta check out her Instagram videos. You be killing me your expressions that you make on your videos. I'm just like, yo, I feel that. You ever watch a video and then you feel a certain thing? She can say how you feel by just her facial expression.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that.
So for those of you guys that don't know how we met, so you want to tell the audience how we met a little bit?
So I met him because Sky took me to the Contender series.
No, to the jiu-jitsu during
jiu-jitsu, and I saw that big guy Danny.
Week.
See, this is how I know people. And I'm just like, oh, the big guy. This, I don't really know their names. There was this big guy named Danny, and I was like, oh my God, he's huge. And then, but something just kept attracting me to this person, and he happened to be Ode. He just had this energy and this light about him. And I was like, who is he? And Sky goes, oh, he's a fighter. His name is Ode. I need to meet him. I want to meet him. I want to take a picture. So I had to wait afterwards and stand in line and go over there. And I'm like, can I take a picture with you? And, and so he was like, yeah, sure, take a picture with me. I'm like, yeah, we friends. And then that was it. I was like, I like you. So, but...
Oh man, I tried to take a picture and I tried to stand behind her.
No, that wasn't what happened.
Sorry, I tried to. Well, that's trying to say.
You try to stand behind me. See, what happens is,
Yes.
See, you guys can't see anything here, but I just want to let you know that I didn't make weight if I had to fight him. And he's trying to stand behind me, and I was like, oh, little man, you can't stand behind me and make us look like a 0.1. It's not going to happen. I need you to stand up in front of me, give me a little bit of, shading and stuff, and then we could take a picture, and everything turned out right. See, this is my thing is, little people don't understand how to take pictures with big people. We need to have, there's certain ways we take pictures just to, the lighting, the looks, and all that stuff. And so I love it. And Sky was like, I cannot believe you just moved Ode like that. And I was like, yeah, I did move Ode because he needed to get in front of me so I didn't look, 3 times his size. Yes, that's what I did.
She really did. I was the whole child. She was
a whole chat. This guy was like, I'm so embarrassed. You moved Ode. And I'm like,
I know, because it's so funny. You guys have such different personalities.
Yes.
Like, you're super quiet.
Yes.
And you're like me, super outgoing, just all over the place.
happy. Just ready to talk to people.
Or I love it. And that's why, I gotta have that balance. That's why I have Mitch and Cynthia, because they're both like super mellow personality, chill. So like, I love having 2 types of friends, because I can go to them for like a chill personality advice, and I can go to my loud people for their loud people advice.
Yeah, but I'm quiet when I need to be quiet, because that stealthy Scorpio self, I can be under that rock and watch.
I'm not. Fuck that.
Yeah, and I'd be like, no, wait, hold, and then go. Yeah. What are you, a Sagittarius?
No, I'm a Capricorn.
Well, that's about the same. Y'all ready to go and charge?
I don't know nothing about signs. I feel like I'm so I don't know nothing. I just know I'm a goat, because Capricorn's the goat.
Hey.
That makes sense.
Hey.
What are you guys
right?
on signs?
I'm a Cancer.
Fellow Scorpio over here.
Scorpio in the house.
Water.
So you know how to wait. You wait.
I'm patient.
And then you better have,
Yeah, I sting, I take it.
it's over.
It's so funny too, because they're both like, their personalities are super calm, but it's so funny being around them. They're always like wrestling with each other and playing around. Like, they're always trying to like beat each other up and shit. I'm like, damn, y'all can y'all stop being so cute?
She tried to beat me up. What's going on?
Mean, listen, if we're hugging and I happen to have his wrist control, like it's natural to me, like
Keep it going.
Yeah, I'm like, like someone grabs a hold of me or something, I'm gonna start grabbing and trying to, tap you out kind of thing. It's just in me. I've been doing this for like 10 years.
Listen.
Like, you're going to come close to me, something, I'm going to try to choke you out, grab a leg.
But
or
you're
an
like
arm.
a sniper. You're like a little ninja sniper because literally you're the type of person that, I might talk a little shit to. Then you'd say something, I'd say something. I'm like, she ain't gonna do nothing to me. And I'd be on the ground asking why and talking to God, wondering how, don't take me this way, and tapping and stuff. And, and it'd be like, how was she tapping or was she playing an actual song? It looked like I'm playing on the piano. I'm like, no, I was actually tapping that many times. I wasn't playing a melody.
You said, don't take me this way.
Don't take me this way. You just look like that sniper one because you just look so cool and so calm. Ha ha he he until you're not.
She, for real. Watch her fights.
I've definitely been that way my entire life. I would say I hate fucking bullies. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I fight, to be honest. It's not because I want to beat people up. I just, I found out that this is my gift, though, after time. But I just remember, like, my first fight was in elementary school. And, like, I was at this after-school program. And one of these, like, troublemaking girls, there's a group of, like, mean girls. And one of them turns around and, like, I heard you call me a bitch. And I was like, no, I didn't, but what if I did?
Right.
And I was like, all right, we're going down the back in the cafeteria, we're about to fight. So and I'm a nice fighter too, which is weird. Like, I'll take you down and I'll hold you and I'll slap you around and then I'll ask you if that's enough and I'll let you get back up and we'll go back at it again.
Wow,
like,
that's
it's
really
just,
cancer.
yeah, right?
Cancer. I was like, oh, that gives me a chance.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird because I'm such a soft baby, emotional, but I'm also like, don't fucking touch me or my people, I'll kill you. But I'm sorry, though.
Like, you okay? Would you like some water, cold rag?
Yes.
I love it. Oh, my gosh. I love it. So when she said she hated bully, Sky, your reaction was like, ooh. So tell me about that. What made you react that way?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I had a really bad lazy eye. I've had 3 surgeries since then. But, like, growing up and having, like, a lazy eye, I got picked on a lot. Like, everybody wants to talk about your eye. Everybody wants to make fun of you. And so for me, like, I was super aggressive as a kid. Like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like no, like, I'm going to fight. I'm going to go to war against everybody. It didn't matter family, friends. Didn't matter who it was. Like, yeah. It was all bad.
I know. It seemed like it was like a sore spot she hit when Cynthia said,
I hate bullies.
I hate bullies. You were like, ooh, I hate bullies too.
Yes.
Fuck them bullies. I was like, damn, okay.
Yes.
So I gotta ask, what did you? I'm sorry, not to switch the subject. My ADHD is gonna prevent me from forgetting what I'm about to say, so I'm gonna say it now before I forget. What did y'all think about Bo Nickal? All right, go ahead, go, because I know.
I just have to say this. I used to play women's professional football. I played for the Valkyries. And yeah, it was dope. It was good. People like the lingerie. No, not lingerie.
She has a actual picture inside of, what is it?
Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated.
Yamaguchi was on the cover.
No.
Yeah, and I'm
for
page
real?
7. I got a whole picture in there.
Oh,
So,
man.
anyways,
That's dope.
We done. We gonna have to find that.
my good friend is the mother of Bo Nickal, Sandy Nichols. And I didn't realize that was Sandy Nichols until one of my Valkyrie friends called Sky. Sky goes, hey, that's one of your people. And I'm like, what? And so I saw her at the event tonight. And when I saw him not even make it through the first round good, they didn't even have
It wasn't even
The first round, a minute.
It was 48 seconds, wasn't it?
Something like that.
50 something.
Yeah.
All I
something
know
crazy.
is less than a minute.
Yeah.
And so it makes you even more happy when you know it's somebody that you know. And I love Sandy, so I shout out to Sandy Nichols. But that was just awesome. It was awesome. I really was hyped. I was.
Dope.
It was, man. That was like, honestly, I believe that we're looking at the next UFC champion. I don't care what anybody says. I think that we are looking at the next UFC champion. And
Really?
he's got so much time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be that good and to be that well-rounded, like, he's so decorated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
the
way that he transitioned.
Yes.
That was nasty.
Yes.
That was terrifying.
See, look at you knowing the transitions, though.
She's
he's
sick
good.
when it comes to the fight. She knows it all. She has to do all that audio and she knows it all.
The transitions, I see. Yes, the way that he went from what I loved, how he just was like, you know what? Y'all may think I'm a wrestler, but I'm gonna sub you anyways.
Yeah.
That level of confidence and knowing how good you are in certain positions that's rare. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because as fighters, depending on who your group of people are, group of coaches are, people will say, "Oh, you're good at this, stick to that." You know what I'm saying? Most people will say that. You're good at this, stick to that. I love whoever's in his corner. Congrats to them,
Mike
man,
Brown.
because congrats to him. Look at you. Congrats to him because he's like, you know what? You're good at that. You can do that too.
Yeah.
Do it. You can do that too. Go ahead. You can strike too. You know what I'm saying? I love that, man. I love that.
Okay,
You know,
so let me ask this question as a novice, 'cause I don't know as much as you guys sitting at this table. I know there's a little 17-year-old that we saw last week, right?
Yeah,
Raul,
Rosas
we actually used to
Jr.
train with him.
Okay, so the little 17-year-old versus Nichols. I mean, they said the 17-year-old was going to be.
They're different
Oh,
weight class.
oh, but do you see what I'm talking
Apart.
about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So champion. Okay, see, this is why I'm just going to keep on drinking. I'm just saying.
Oh man.
I got Rosas.
So Mitch, I want to know your thoughts on Bo Nickal coming up.
I think that, it's not a surprise
honestly,
to me.
I'm sorry to cut you
Go
off,
ahead.
Mitch. I didn't mean to. The reason why I say that, I think you are very similar in style with him. Mitch is very similar in style to Bo Nickal. So that's why I ask personally. No, for real. Like Mitch's style is very, very similar. Like
Thank
he is a hard, heavy wrestler that knocks people senseless, knocks their blocks off.
Thank you.
And his jits is awesome. Yeah. So
Appreciate it.
yeah, go ahead. What is
So I think that it's just like Bo Nickal is a guy who obviously he's excelled at everything that he's done athletically. That he's put his time into as a wrestler. I mean, all of his accolades there, and then stepping over to MMA now. I remember this is the thing about it is I'm not surprised to see him do that, to be able to transition his jiu-jitsu and do all these different things. He did. I mean, what was it? Over 2 years ago now that he did that tournament, that match against Gordon Ryan, where it was like he went for wrestling points and then Gordon went for subs, right? Like I'm a fan of the game across everything because I love MMA because there's just so many different things to learn. I got ADD, but I can like bite onto certain things, and fighting is something I can bite onto, and MMA gives me lots of different types of fighting to bite onto. So it's like perfect for my crazy ass brain, but like watching Bo Nickal, like I watched a lot of different stuff, and I know he's been training for years. He didn't just wake up last month and be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna get on Contender Series and go beat somebody up and get a contract. Like this is a guy who has reached the highest level of his sport that he chose, which is wrestling, which is coming from a wrestler who personally made a lot of bad decisions as a young man that squandered any chance for me to get a scholarship anywhere. But seeing it and knowing the way that goes, I understand how hard that is to do, to reach the level of success that he has had as a wrestler. It's very, very small percentage of people do it. And for him to transition for him to be as young as he is and to have said years ago, hey, I'm going to be a fighter, that's going to be a scary individual. You give him a few years, like, dude, the guy of course he's going to be able to throw subs if he gets with a good jiu-jitsu coach. Of course he's going to be able to chuck bombs if he gets with a good striking coach. Like, he's a freak athlete with a freak amount of determination and willpower. That's the reason why he is who he is. So he's now stepping into this arena after preparing for years. And he's put the middleweight division's on notice for sure. And I hope that they, you were saying something earlier about, him being the next world champion. I believe that too. But it's going to be fun to see him go in there and mix it up and see, where's the how much time does he need to beat that Izzy, to beat, those top notch level guys that have the wall wrestling, that have the skills, that have this other stuff too against his abilities, right? And that's why I think it's so interesting, because sometimes, some guys can make that climb quickly. You see a John Jones that just did it. You know what I mean? And then there's other guys that get a little too much too soon, and it kind of like, throws them off their thing. And the great ones recover and become great, and the ones that, I think Bo Nickal, no matter what happens, is going to be a champion at some point, to be honest with you. Yeah. But I'm excited and I'm curious to see when and how.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
Oh no, go ahead, continue.
No.
I mean, as Mitch was saying, so it's going to be exciting to see how everything just levels out, where he can be that well-rounded and come up with the top 10 fighters. Because once you start fighting the top 10 is going to be different, very difficult, regardless if you're an expert in a certain, mixed martial arts. Like, you have to be great at everything. You have to be able to figure out how, you're going to be able to, someone who has amazing takedown defense. How are you going to do standing and dealing with their power, learning how to range, like,
Yeah.
boxing. It takes so much consistency of, like, being able to put a little bit of time on every part of it, whether it's your, kickboxing, whether it's your boxing, whether it's jiu-jitsu, about wrestling. It's really hard to do everything all at the same time. You kind of have to like put a little bit there, and then you're kind of like just always changing, and there's always an evolution. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to be able to do that. But I think most importantly, what's going to set them apart is having that mentality, that grittiness, from being able to wrestling is one of the hardest sports to do in life, and to be able to do that, if you can wrestle, I personally think you can do anything in life. So I'm excited to definitely see that and see how it's, his mental toughness, how far it can take him.
Yeah, and I think, so just like Mitch, I grew up wrestling as well, and certain things that wrestlers do, certain finite details that I pick up on that I don't see in a lot of MMA fighters. He checks all the boxes when he's on his transitions, how he's able to, go from one move to the next, and he does it effortlessly.
Yeah.
And I look in his eyes, and all I see is confidence.
Yeah.
And I see a humble confidence, which is good, because usually I would say ego can be the death of somebody who is not humble. You know what I'm saying? And he has that little, he's got that it factor. Some people, just that it factor.
Like, it's just relentlessness. Being relentless is it's very powerful, and it's like it's beyond like your ego, but it's also like you have to create somebody just like Kobe Bryant with the Black Mamba. It's something you tap into, and there's like somehow to find mindfulness in all the chaos, just fighting at the highest level and not letting any outside factors, fuck the noise, and it's just like that's just, even in itself, the like mental part of it. Also, it takes work. That's something else that you need to do. You can be you can be the best on the mat every day, but when it comes to competition, you need to have that 100% mental, like, more than 100%, to be better than somebody else. So that's so important and so huge, and something that I still try to work with throughout days, and being able to, because sometimes like I try to like freak myself out in the sense of like, damn, I'm competing against people who have been athletes their entire life. I didn't start training until I was 23. I don't have any of like, that athletic background that most people have. And so for me, it was my work ethic. It was my mental game that said, fuck it. Why not me? Why not try it? Why not, if I have the opportunity and they give it to me, I'm going to do everything I can, But it is difficult once you reach that level where everybody in the top 10 has that too, because I got into the UFC when I was 3-0, and I was 6 months of a professional. I've been fighting the best for my whole professional career, and that's crazy, and that's hard to like withstand. Once it's hard to get in, it's even harder to stay in. And so I'm still working on that. So it's really cool to just kind of see everybody else and some of the greats. Like I love like, being able to listen and watch to what some of the greatest that ever have done it. Like I've learned so much more, and like that's what you want to be great. You want to be able to take the best from all the greats and make yourself something like that.
Yes, and you know more about that than most people, because you had one of the best rookie years. Getting signed to the UFC, your rookie year was incredible. Like you went on the most incredible run.
Yeah. No, for sure. That was crazy to me, because I went from a nobody to everybody kind of like knowing me. Like I had lines of fans everywhere whenever greeting me. I've never in my wildest dreams thought that I'd ever even reach this level. And so I felt like my whole first year in the UFC was just a dream. Like it was literally a whole dream, and I was just trying to do the best that I can and not let any of the outside factors, get in. And then it's been kind of a little bit rocky up and down here and there, but I'm still here, and I feel like that's the cool part about it is that I didn't have like a big amateur career, big like background in like sports. So being able to like live through the wins and losses that you might normally have when you first start a sport, I didn't really get to have that until I actually turned pro, which is kind of crazy. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, my whole professional career is unfolding in front of the UFC, and I'm just like hoping that I can still, you know, I'm still learning, I'm still trying to, you know, figure things out, and I still want to be the best in the world, and I still think that I still can. So yeah, I'm just, you know, still learning. I feel like I'm still kind of a little bit of a baby in the sport just because I got started late, and I'm trying to figure out how to be like one of the greats without even having the same experience. But I'm trying to build that same mental like grittiness and toughness, and hopefully I can just keep
And
learning.
you will, you know, because you're so tough. I've seen you fight. I've seen you train. I've seen, you know, I know your mentality and your grittiness is there. You have everything that you need. You know what I'm saying? You're such a just a go-getter type of fighter, and a lot of people don't understand this when they get signed, and you get it. Dana White loves fighters. Whether you win or you lose, he loves fighters, and you are a fighter through and through. You know what I'm saying? He loves that dogness, and I think it's amazing. You know, it is like, and I say when you come from a certain background, or when you were raised a certain way, you just have that thing that people can't seem to understand. Where is that coming from? You know, but it's coming from having a certain childhood and
where I grew up.
Yep.
You know, I grew up in East Side San Jose in the Bay Area, and let me say, probably
Bay Area.
probably was
Bay.
you know, you got a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just like you never back down no matter what. You know, like
Yeah.
I said, I wasn't a bully, but I'd be damned if I'm gonna back down. You know?
Right.
I'm gonna fight till I have no more. I don't give a damn.
I want one of her shirts. I don't know what it is about you. I'm sitting here with this big grin. I am sold. I am like all about this. I'm like, yeah, get him. And I was like, I'm getting the shirt. That's all I gotta say. And I need a picture and it's autographed because I'm like, wow, this energy is real right now. I mean, I'm excited to see you fight.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
not gonna lie. I'm
You
excited to
probably
see your next
have
fight.
already.
I have. Okay.
Wait, you okay? All right.
Fine, 'cause I ain't got no
Pause.
cornrows on.
You watched me in San Diego.
Yes.
You also watched her in San
Yeah, I
Diego.
fight-
Well, then I was screaming.
No.
I was hollering. I did it all. Then I did see you. All right now.
Yeah.
I mean, see, Sky, you got to see. She's my ear. She just tells me, oh, you know this person. Oh, you did this. I mean, she tells me everything I need to know. I get excited. I get hyped up for certain people, but she's the one who knows all the info.
Yeah.
I've seen you fight.
How
I love
long-
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how long have you guys? How long have you guys been together, and how did you guys meet?
Coming up on 6 years.
Stripping.
Don't listen to her.
Tell me about this stripping.
will
I want
make
to know
up
more.
any
This is the
story.
I want to know
Shower
more.
dances.
Oh, I want to know more. Tell me.
Tripping, huh?
She'll make up absolutely anything. We actually met at work, like my previous to this, and she was
Y'all
my
tripping
trainer.
at work or what?
That was, yeah, you know, we were HR violation, you know, and kept it going. But yeah, and then she decided she wanted to get back into audio engineering, and boom, UFC came along, and then this became our life. Like I get excited. You guys make me excited. I'm sitting here, I'm hyped up that I'm with you three right now. I'm just like, I really did see you fight. Now that I think about this in San Diego, that is so awesome. Yeah. And I'm the person. I'm that novice that will yell, scream, have a great time. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you do everything that I think I can.
You know what I love about the UFC is like, and all the UFC employees is that they all really love the sport, and like anytime I'm during fight week and I'm seeing everybody, if I've seen you before, I was like, hey, what's up? You know, you guys just make it more comfortable for us. You know, I've been a part of other organizations and stuff, and like it's just kind of weird. And I would really truly say that pretty much all the UFC employees that I know, they love the UFC, and they love all the fighters, and it makes it really cool to like come into the UFC PI and just be around everybody else. Like I think the first time that I did get into the UFC, I went over to the other side, you know, because they keep the UFC PI and the athletes and the employees separate. But I remember I got sponsored by Body Armor, and I filled up my backpack, and they said that the UFC employees couldn't go get any body armor, that it was only for the fighters. So I filled up my backpack and I started playing my walkout song with my speaker and walked to the other side and started giving them to everybody.
That's awesome. You get body armor. You get body armor.
Thirsty.
She's over here, Oprah. My name is Oprah.
That's a Cynthia move right there, for real.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
For real, that's a whole.
She's clutch.
She's a real one.
We wouldn't be able to do this without all of us. You know what I mean? We wouldn't be able to like have the UFC become so big and it's gotten so huge in the last couple of years. It's quite crazy. When I first started MMA, there was no women in the UFC, and I remember just doing MMA just because I needed an outlet for myself at that time. And then out of nowhere, like, hey, Ronda Rousey got signed to the UFC. I was like, what? There's women in the UFC. I was like, dude, I can do it too.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, heck yeah, you know? So then I ended up just leaving everything behind in San Jose, quit my job, moved to Sacramento to go train with Team Alpha Male, and the rest was history. It was a really rocky road, but I eventually made it to the UFC, which is quite freaking incredible. Like even to this
Top
day,
notch.
Yeah.
there's days that I wake up and I'm like, I get to go fight. Like I go fight for a living. I got to go work out and get punched and punch people in the face, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not forever, but I'm extremely grateful and I'm blessed that, I was given this purpose and, I'm going to do what I can for as long as I can. And hopefully after I'm done with fighting, I still want to be a part of the company, whether it's like going to be, commentating or podcasts or just working with any of the athletes.
Or even just working in the PI.
Yeah,
Claudia Gadelia works in the PI,
just like Claudia Gadelia, and like I said, I don't have any background outside, athletically wise, other than MMA is what I started. So I feel I can literally say that I started from scratch, and so I want to be able to help all fighters with everything that I've been through because I can help them in different aspects, whether it's like the mental game, whether it's nutrition, and especially more for women. I think being a woman in the sport is extremely hard, and it takes a lot to get respect in the gym. There's a lot of times where some like boys have egos, they don't want to train with you and stuff, so you got to push a little bit harder and get your respect in there, So you definitely have to work a little bit harder, and I want to be able to, help a lot of the women athletes and, the men too, but I there's just something a little bit, hold dear to my heart just because I know what it's like to be a female and be in the sport, especially back then, like I said, there was no women in the UFC. We weren't making no kind of money whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like the fact that you said that because Sky always said that when she turns 35, 36, she wants to fight. Not, professional, but she wants to get in the ring. Sky, don't get quiet now.
I've been
Because I just found you're a
Come on,
coach.
Sky.
I've been quiet.
Come on, Sky.
I mean, she said I'm
Sky.
about to, she's about to train down and she's going to get down. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk
Yeah.
and you're going to be able to, get her in that ring and we're going to do we're going to do it. We're going to make it happen.
Oh,
We already got the whole
I'm
side of
ready.
the ring. I'm your
Look.
cut man.
amateur
She's your
fight.
coach.
I
She's
just want
coach.
to see what it feels like.
Hey,
you
why
know?
not?
Hey.
Why
Hey.
not?
You should.
Hey.
It's like I have so much appreciation for the fighters, and so to be able to try it would just be amazing. Like we started doing jiu-jitsu like February, March,
Oh, heck yeah.
and like
that's
just
dope.
started with jiu-jitsu was just amazing. It was like, oh, okay, so now like when I took her to the jiu-jitsu event where we met you, like she was able to see and understand what was happening rather than just looking at it and not really knowing what was going on. So that was amazing.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
great.
cool.
That,
The more
and-
you train, the more respect you
Absolutely.
you're gonna understand it more. And if you were, I think that's awesome. If you were to take an amateur fight or anything else, it's not just an amateur fight either. Like, oh, it's just an amateur fight,
Yeah.
but like it's still a fight.
Yeah.
You're still
Yeah,
gonna
you're
lock you in
still
the cage.
getting- Yeah.
I mean,
You're
you
gonna
get hit in the
your
face
hands
is a
taped.
whole
Yeah.
different story.
Yeah.
I was going to box after football.
still gonna
And
get
so
a
I'm in the
fight.
gym, I'm doing everything. We get in the ring and I have got my mouthpiece in, everything's ready. We're like, ding. And, we're sparring and all this stuff. And somebody hit me in my face. my face. And it was over. And that was my entire, I was like, did you just hit me in my face?
No, tell them what you did.
I had my
called
gloves
timeout.
and I'm like, time out. And I took my headpiece out, took my mouthpiece out, and I said, yeah, this is not for me. So, I mean, I have
Mind you, she not only did she do football, but she
I did
also
rugby. I did rugby.
Oh my
Rugby is a beast of it.
Yeah.
Look,
What?
until you are an MMA fighter, you have not been that real gladiator. I thought, if you play rugby, you're everything. I'm a rugger. I'm a loose head. But I'm not a MMA. Get hit in the face on purpose. I'm like, you did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Ow.
The idea is that you hit them in the face
Yeah.
and they don't
Oh,
hit you back.
man,
You know what I
yo.
mean? That's what we're shooting for.
For real though, but honestly, like the UFC is. I've said this before on my last podcast, and I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it tomorrow. I'm gonna say it the next day. I don't give a shit. The UFC is the most exciting sports organization
Period.
ever.
Agree.
Period.
Yo.
Support.
Yo, what other league can't, like the NFL, they're gonna have a game where two teams is like, you know what? I don't want to play football today. That's it. Their day's done. But the UFC, 2 guys miss weight and something happens where people fall out and say they don't want to fight, whatever. They're like, all right, we're going to find somebody here, find somebody there. We're going to bring them together. We're going to have Nate Diaz fight Tony Ferguson. Then we're going to put Kevin Holland against Khamzat. And then we're going to just, oh my goodness.
Or even just Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
Like with sports, with traditional sports, we see the score coming up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like we know that there's a possibility that if we're have 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we know that there's a possibility.
Yep.
But Kamaru Usman was cruising to be, the GOAT and gets hit with a head kick.
Oh, yeah.
Danny and I were watching it and I was like, oh, it's over. I was getting ready to go to the bathroom.
It was over.
That you can't remake that.
I mean,
it's the best.
Yeah, like
just the energy. Like me and Mitch were there in Utah. And we watched that
Shout out
fight
Salt
live.
Lake.
Nice.
And
Salt Lake. That's where I'm from.
dude, the energy of the whole arena, everybody was that same thing.
Yeah.
They're about to leave. People started walking out of the, they started walking out, and then like boom, knockout. The whole place just
Lost
fucking,
it.
Yeah, lost it. And that shit went into the streets downtown. I'm talking about it was like
It was
like
crazy,
the
honestly.
purge. I'm
Yes.
talking about the cops weren't even doing anything because they didn't have enough people.
No.
The people were going crazy.
Legitimate
They
scene.
went
Legitimate scene. We were walking to the after party. This drunk ass comes pulling out all crazy out of where he was parked, right? Past 2 cops with their cruisers parked. Acting all crazy. Other dude in his car rolls down the window. Are you gonna pull them over? They're drunk. Not enough of us don't know what to tell you, dude. We looked at each other. We're like, I guess that's what it is
what we're
tonight.
doing.
no.
That's
I
what
guess
the
it's the
UFC
lost
Check
did.
your
No.
surroundings.
You understand it's real. I mean,
Swear to God.
that's a real
Shout out
deal.
Salt Lake PD. Metro Police, Salt Lake City.
If
Shout
you
out.
guys don't know that Mitch Ramirez is from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Nice.
I'm from like 30 minutes outside of it, but I claim it all. You know what I'm saying? I've lived across both counties. The whole state's mine. All right.
Let's be
Even the-
honest.
even the-
I rep
Nobody
the whole
knows
state.
any
Even the
other
Mormons?
city.
Even the Mormons?
Yeah, even the
I'm
Mormons.
about to say tabernacle. You like all the
That's what I'm
tabernacles, all that stuff.
I mean, I don't frequent, but like, what's up? You know?
the Lost Boys, all that good stuff.
No, it's where I'm from. You gotta, there's not that many people where I'm from that have made it, even to the level that I'm at, and I'm gonna go a lot further. I mean, I think there's one active UFC fighter in the entire state of Utah where I'm from. That's Court McGee.
Nice.
He's a good friend of mine, and mentor of mine. But it's a very small circle, like Utah MMA. The people who like really, excel and make it. Like there's only been a handful that have ever really made it from where I'm from. So it's not like. Here it's like there's a superstar on every freaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna go to the
True.
gas
Yeah.
station. You're gonna go to freaking Protein House or whatever. You might see a world champion. You might see it. Every day
Yeah.
you're gonna see somebody if you're in this area. Where I'm from, it's not like that. Where I'm from, it's like if you're even in the UFC, you're a star because it's hard. There's not the bodies. There's not the pool. There's
Yeah.
not the people looking at you like that are down here. If you're good and you got the right manager and these other things and you get put on that right track, like you're going places. Like where I'm from, you better beat everybody the fuck up and some, and then hope that somebody pays attention.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's
100%.
not a lot of. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just the reality of the situation. When you don't live in these big areas, you don't come from these big gyms. You train in these small towns in these areas where there's not that much clout for that. You're just like trying to make a dream happen. From just a small place. So that's why I say, I stand for the whole state. There's not that many of us, so I represent the whole state of Utah. That's I put it on my back. Let's go, and I'm going places, so let's do it.
Oh man, I love that, man. I love when people come from like small MMA communities like Utah, and they just rep the shit out of it. You know who else is like that? Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yes, Arkansas.
Yeah, that man.
Darkansas.
Dude.
Yo,
Have you heard him rapping?
Yes, bro. He actually is good though. He's good.
Yeah, he was.
Yo, he will die for Arkansas.
He will.
Yeah.
He really
And
will.
he said it.
Yes. And for whatever reason, I love that.
Yes.
I love that because they don't make people like Mitch and Bryce Mitchell no more, man. They don't make them real like that. Wherever they come from, they're going to under 6 feet under for that place. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, I don't care about Florida.
I don't know. I feel like Bay Area people are really like about Bay Area. I mean, you say Bay Area and people like Bay Area.
That's true. That's
I
true.
mean, yeah. So
That's
that
true.
rep is hard when it comes to that California.
What's that? Nipsey
for sure.
Hussle? that
D40,
D4 man.
Madrid.
Yeah.
I like
Oh.
the fact that like I don't know if Andre Philly walked out to it in his last fight,
Yeah.
but when at the jiu-jitsu place, he
actually
walked out to Mag.
I actually walked out
I know
to film myself
in
the
San
live-
Diego.
Yeah, in San
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah, I heard that. I was gonna go get a beer, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm in the building and I'm feeling myself.
Oh, yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
That's fire. I do like I can relate a little bit because I am like that with Jamaica. You know, I'd be like, I'm from Jamaica. Come on, man.
Yeah, I wanted Leon to walk out to Buju Banton champion.
Buju Banton.
Yeah, that would have been dope.
Yeah, that is.
Walk
See,
like
I
a
like
champion.
Leon, but I almost have a bone to pick with him a little
Yeah.
bit. I'm a little bit like, damn, you don't be repping Jamaica like that. You rep.
Oh, he doesn't.
I know, like,
You
come
never hear
on.
about it.
We're both born in the same
Parish.
town. Yeah, parish. Oh, look at you. She even knows. She knows what it's called.
What I
Yo,
tell
y'all
you.
don't understand. Like, nobody knows that's what it's called, a
Yeah.
parish.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't know, you know how there's United States, you know, Arkansas, whatever the case may be, Florida, blah, blah, blah. In Jamaica, it's parish. We have parish. And, no one knows that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's you
Probably from the French colonial roots,
yeah. Yeah.
as it is down in the South.
For real.
Parishes in Louisiana and such. Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, you're right. But
I like history.
Mitch is a
Said
history
no one
buff.
ever.
Hey,
I think if he wasn't fighting, he'd be a historian for sure.
I really I do
That's
love
dope.
history.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
weird, you know what I mean? I like to beat people up, and I like to read books about like ancient Roman shit too.
Why not? Why not?
How they used to beat people up. How they used to do
I
this.
go, damn, man. I was like, I'm kind of a gladiator, but I guess I do. I mean, I'm not like locked up having to fight people. Nobody owns me, and like there's a ref in there, so
Whoa.
I'm doing pretty good.
There's not a lion
I mean,
in
it's the way it was. Like
chains.
gladiators were slaves too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
back in the day, it was like you're a piece of property. You know, like I don't know. I look back at history, and I think that human beings don't change that much. I just think that like the rules change a little bit.
Yeah.
And like guys like us were gladiators, and
Yeah.
there were certain points in time where gladiators were the lowest of the low, and
Yeah.
were owned by people, and were thrown in there to be mincemeat to make people scream and be happy. And
That's
there was
true.
other times when they were a little had a little bit more than that.
You're
you know,
not
so-
entertained.
And now and now here we are making a decision to go do this.
Yeah.
And, it's
Crazy.
But if you
true,
think
but-
about it, the chain is the contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
But the thing is, it's a choice. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
have a
it's
good
I mean,
time, you know.
I don't know. I'll say this: like, it's a hard lifestyle and everything else, and like there are certain times when you're like, man, like could have chose the easier path here.
Yeah.
Definitely. And, like,
Definitely.
every time you take like a bad injury or something stupid, what I mean,
Yeah.
whatever, and you're just like sitting there and you're like, God damn, you're hungry, whatever it is, and you're just like, oof, this is a tough path,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
And not just
so
I'm sorry.
rewarding. It is so rewarding at the same time. Most people don't know what it feels like to give every bit of your soul and your energy and your mind
Yes.
and your ability to something, and to see it pan out like
Yeah.
that in that
Yes.
moment when you win that fight that you've been losing sleep over, that you've been stressed about, that you didn't know if you could really win, but you told everybody you could.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
better. You know what I mean? Like you're always gonna be like, hell yeah, I'm gonna smash
I
it.
got this.
Yeah,
Right.
and like most of the time you might believe it, but you're a liar if you said that there's not times you're laying in bed going, if I spar like that in the fight, I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
Yeah. For
You know what I
real.
mean? After a bad day of training, man, if I make that stupid mistake and get caught in that shit in practice, what am I gonna do? You
Yeah.
got to shut that off. But like, just to go through all of that, and then to like get to that result, and then to like get that win, however it is, and that's just like, I don't know. It's like a drug, to be honest with you. It's like
Yeah,
it's like
and
the
I've-
most like
Definitely is.
ecstasy you can imagine. Like and then obviously if it doesn't go well,
Yeah.
then it can be like, oh, so devastating. But like it's still like the purest effort you can give to something, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like you can't
You
really
still got
give
a
yourself
lesson
any
in
more
that.
to
Even
fight.
in the loss, you got a lesson and you got
Yeah.
a growth.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely do.
Yep.
So
That's why I think fighters are so amazing, because like even with other athletes, it takes something different to be
Oh,
able to go
for
out in
sure.
front of 20,000, 15,000 people and fight with the potential of being harmed. Like, and everybody's going to see it, and it's going to be replayed over and over and over. Like, that's something like,
For
oh
sure.
man, it
and-
takes a different kind of person to be able to do that.
And not just that, but the amount of adversity that you have to face. Like,
Yeah.
even for Mitch, I know growing up in Utah, Salt Lake City, and your last name being Ramirez. You tell me that wasn't
Oh,
difficult.
dude! If it was like I actually grew up outside of Salt Lake, so where I grew up, it's probably like 80% white, 10 to 15% Latino, maybe, and then like another 5% of like whatever else
Okay.
happened to come along. So I mean, yeah, you definitely feel a little bit different. It's like, I don't know. I had mixed race parents too, so it's like, you know, you're in a place where like, I think I had like we had like one other friend, family that we'd hang out with that were Latino, and then we had like, I think I had one other friend who had mixed race parents. Everybody else was white. Right? So like, I don't know, at a pretty young age, you hear the jokes and the slurs and the, you know what I mean, whatever else, you know, it's always going to be like that outside thing where it's like, you know, so definitely, you know, I mean, but I'll say this, you know, I can't complain too much, you know, I feel like, you know, you go through things in your life that, you know, kind of make you who you are.
Yeah.
And like that little chip on my shoulder of always feeling like I was kind of being judged, like people looked at me like I might have been a little bit less than them or something that wasn't in my control. I mean, that's why I probably got in a lot of fights, because people would say stuff like that to me. You know what I mean? I was honing my skills out there.
But look now, but you honing your skills, and because of what you went through, you didn't just be like, you know what, because I went through all of this, then that's it. I'm whatever. You actually used that and you let it fuel you, and look where you are today, man. And that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? That's something powerful. That's really powerful. And I always use that as an example for other people in your situation, young folks, you know, like, yo, use your weakness and let it become your strength.
Yep.
You know? And speaking of young folks, what do you guys think about that Raul Rosas Jr., the 17-year-old that just got signed to the UFC?
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. It made me smile, made me very happy. It's nice to know that he got to that level that quick. Now I want to see if he can hold it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
I think that's the question everybody is like asking, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because we remember. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. He's definitely really young, but I've trained along him and his brother. He also has another older brother who probably I'm not sure how. I think he has an older brother, but he's got another brother. They're around the same weight class, and I trained with both of them, and they're so entertaining, and they love training, and we've seen them just beat grown men time after time in practice that are way bigger than them.
Yep.
I mean, he couldn't even talk about a time where he had to train with them, and both of them were going at him like little hyenas,
Dude,
trying to take turns and tiring them out.
Really? Was that hard?
Oh, listen. All right. Okay. So I moved here in January, but the first time I came to Vegas to train at Syndicate and to kind of try the scene out was in December. I just fought at the very end of October, but I had COVID, and like, long story short, it caused some issues. I had to take some time off of training. So I had only been training for like a few weeks again, like getting myself healthy again, right? To be able to even like go to my practice and do what I'm supposed to do. So, you know, of course, you know, my coach is like, hey, we should go, you know, to Vegas to go check the scene out, and let's go, you know, let's have you just like get your feet wet down there. Let's see, you know, the level we're at and everything else. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. So of course we come down to Vegas, and we're decided to stay for a week. And I think it was like, we got here on like a Sunday, and it was a Monday wrestling practice, and being run by Frank Hickman, shout out Frank. One of the things he was having us do that day, you know, after we're drilling hard, and I don't know how to like, you know, some of these MMA guys, man, they know how to like drill easy, and like by the time we get live rounds, like nobody's got sweat on him. I'm over here like, what? Like I'm like embarrassed because I'm having to move around the mat because I'm like leaking a puddle because I've been drilling so damn hard for the last hour. I'm exhausted already, and now live's gonna start, right? So anyway, most of the time I can do that just fine, but at this moment in time, you know, I was a little bit not as good cardio as I could have been. Well, I got the Rosas brothers in a group of 3, and it's 1 minute, it's 2 minutes in, 1 minute out, right? So you go one, then the other, and then take away a 1 minute break, right? And you're running this for like multiple rounds in a row. And so you're wrestling hard, right? For that minute, because you're going with a guy, you're both fresh, and then you go with a fresh guy, right? It's just coming off his break, right? And all right, I'll be honest with you. They don't think I speak Spanish, and they were talking to each other in Spanish because they could tell I was getting tired.
Yeah.
And telling each other, more. Basically tell him, push harder, get on him, he's tired, get on. And it was, dude, it was like the old lion trying to fight off the hyenas, man. Like and it was barely staying alive. Like, it was like all I could do to not get scored on.
Yeah.
And I'm a pretty good wrestler, but in that moment, like, those kids were pushing me so damn hard. I was like, hold on, how old are you?
Doing this. You shall not
You're
pass.
not 17, bro. You're like 30. What are you talking about? You know? No, but honestly, it was like, you know, that being said, you know, it was always good work. You know, I've worked with them, you know, on multiple occasions since then and everything else. And the boys are both, you know, I hesitate to call them boys because they beat up grown men, but they're both very skilled. They're very talented, right? So, you know, tired or not, they're a handful. You know, they're both very skilled.
Yeah.
What do you think about them?
I'm excited to see what he's gonna look like in the UFC. Because like if you think about it, coming off of Contenders, you had Chase Hooper, who was super young, and on the ground Chase was great, but I think Rosa looked even better. Like in his Contenders bout, he looked even better than Chase Hooper did. And like we seen Chase have like a lot of problems like on the feet with Caceres when he had that fight. Like he was getting pieced up. Like it was really bad, you know. So I think it'll be interesting to see like how he looks on the feet, because his opponent wasn't able to keep it on the feet.
Yeah, and
you know,
the guy that he went up against is really, really tough.
Yeah.
So a really great wrestler. So some people were like, "Oh, he couldn't get the job done." I was like, "You got to understand." I was like, "This kid is really good." Like, but the other guy's so good as well. But with what as you were saying with Bryce Mitchell, what the difference between him and Raul is very explosive and creative, and he wants to entertain. He's like tricking you.
Yeah, that
he's
knee
thinking that you're
into
gonna
the
do a jumping
takedown?
knee. Exactly.
Yes, smooth.
You know, you don't see many people doing that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of stuff they do in practice all the time. Like if you go to the practices, you're gonna watch them and you're gonna be entertained every single time. They're very creative. They're always playing jokes. Like I'd be rolling with them, and they'd be like, "Oh, you dropped your hair tie over there." And I'd go on lit, and I'm like, "What?" And they'd be like, "Take me down." Bro, you just tricked me. I was like, I ain't falling for your tricks no more. I was like, I'm very excited. I think he's going to do very well. I think, whether he gets up with the top 10 right away or not, like he can be anywhere, like Max Holloway,
I love Max.
Don't say Max Holloway in her
man.
space.
I'm a homer.
Yeah,
I'm a total homer.
He's amazing, and he's an amazing role model and fighter. So it's like I love all his energy. He's never disrespectful. It's all about hyping himself up, and it's great. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. For Raul too. A fun fighter to watch, and I'm excited. I'm
I hope they
super
take him
excited.
slow.
Yeah.
Me too, because being that young, you can't push him
I was
too
just
too
about
hard.
to say this. I was just about to say
Yeah,
this.
because not only is he went from having 2,000 followers to what 170,
that.
160, something crazy.
Yeah,
number
he's just
like
like
that.
every day it was
Yeah.
like every time I just broke up.
Refresh.
Yeah.
I'm like, God.
Yeah,
I
so
know.
he's getting like
What do you think his
all the
phone's
hype.
doing?
You know what I'm saying? Like
he hasn't slept and
Right,
yeah,
and-
his phone's just buzzing constantly.
buzzing, and he's
I
getting.
mean, he made his own hype because they were like, "What are you going to be? You're going to be the champ at 25." He's like, "At 20, 21." He said that himself, so
Exactly.
he wants to take it fast.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's necessary for him to take it slow? I
Well-
guess I just don't.
Well,
Person-
21 is 4 years.
Yeah.
That's like, you don't make him fight a top 10,
No.
15 guy tomorrow. Give
Right.
him-
Yeah,
Give him
and,
some time.
and personally, also with that being said, you need time to develop emotionally, right? So he's not gonna see this because he's in it. Only reason why I'm saying this now is because I was in it. You know what I'm saying? When I first got signed to the UFC, ego was on 12. You know what I'm saying? My level of training, I wasn't able to get it to where his level of training is. But man, ego was on 12. A little dangerous recipe. So the difference between him and Bo is you look at Bo and you see the confidence, but you also see the maturity.
Experience.
You see the experience in his
Yeah.
eyes. You see I know that I am here and I deserve to be here, but I don't really need to let you know that. It's only for me. You know what I'm saying? So there's a level of like, it's a different level. You know what I'm saying? When you look in Bo's eyes, which the Rosa has that too. Raul definitely has that level of confidence, but he's got to, in my opinion at least, get that switch a little, that emotional switch sometimes. So we'll see. You know what I'm saying? How is his emotion gonna dictate everything? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's be honest. This is the way it's going to go. If he continues to win and he continues to win well, we're going to find out pretty damn soon.
Yeah,
That's what
you're
the UFC
right.
That's what the UFC
You're right, 'cause look at-
Let's be honest.
Nasty.
Yeah, but look at Conor. Conor,
135 is scary.
I think he make 25s.
Yeah.
I remember just
Yeah.
talking to both of them and stuff, and like there's a couple times when they'd fight, even whether it's 45, 35s, and not even cut weight.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
but that's mainly because you might not necessarily have to do that at the beginning.
Yeah.
But once it gets to the top level and you're fighting the
Yeah.
top 10, those are big boys. I'm talking about, you look at Algerman, you know how much he walks around when he's not in camp?
65, 70.
But you gotta think too. He's also 17, so his body's still growing.
For sure.
So
Which
by
is
the time
another
he hits,
question, do you want him to cut that weight down to 25? Do you want the 17-year-old to starve himself and maybe stunt his, you know what I mean? I grew up wrestling and there's like gnarly weight cutting practices, you know what I mean? That's like, but like we're talking like professional level weight cutting. We're talking 10% or more of your body mass for a lot of guys. You know, we're not talking about sweating 5 pounds out, you know, in a sweatsuit before practice after you didn't eat good all week. We're talking about like water loading and like, you know, everything, you know what I'm saying? You've been cutting carbs, you've been doing this wild shit to your body, and then you're gonna go, like, I mean, myself personally, you know, I've been through some nasty weight cuts, but I didn't start doing like nasty weight cuts, like real, like, all right, I want to be the best, and what weight am I gonna be the best at weight cuts, until I was probably 25, 24, right? So like I was already like pretty much you know, I mean, you can still grow. I mean, I feel like my body's still changed even, you know, in the last 5 years of like just growing, but like at that point you're like, you know what I mean? Your body's like a man's body. You've stopped growing. You're not, you know, you're not putting on height. But I've also seen friends of mine that did the like too much weight cutting young, way too much. And they didn't, I feel like they didn't get as big as they probably could have. Like looking at their dad and their mom, you're like, why are you so small, bro?
for real though.
You know what I mean? It's like,
real.
because you starved yourself. You had nothing but fucking tuna. You fucking ran a sweatsuit around all year round doing every wrestling season you could. You know, it's like, so there's a fine line there of like, okay, like, you know, what do you do with these? We've never seen a kid this young. Yeah. So like, what do you do with him? Like, what's the right thing to do to like protect him as well? His interests.
Yeah. Well, I feel
you got a long career ahead of him. Man.
Yeah. Well, I feel like because he has his dad in his corner and he's been in his corner for a long time, and he has his brother in his corner, and he has his mom, you know, and everyone. It's just such a strong family dynamic. And I truly believe, like,
your we've family, met all of them. Yeah, over there. They used to come through. They're good. They're nice people.
They're amazing people. Like, look at Floyd Mayweather. You know, Floyd Mayweather has his dad. His dad is his coach. Raul, his dad has been his coach since birth. You know what I'm saying? So having that dynamic is so important, because not only is it good for fighting, but it's good for like outside of fighting too. You know what I'm saying? He just made 10 grand last week as a 17-year-old. That's a lot of money.
In Las Vegas.
Right. Not only that, but
you famous now.
Right. But not only that, but you got to understand that his next fight,
immediately.
right? His next fight,
for a month.
He's gonna make. If he wins, he makes 20. Right now, say he gets a bonus, 75,000 as a 17-year-old. If you win your next fight and get a bonus, which if he wins his next fight, there's a high probability that he'll get a bonus, because he is the hype train. So 75 bands, 75 grand as a 17-year-old. You know your family getting a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? You 17? Come on now.
Yeah. He turns 18 in October, I think.
Yeah, he turns 18 soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, look, that's all yours. That's all yours, little young blood. That's all yours, young blood.
You can fight. He's a family. They're very family oriented. One of the things that somebody yelled at him from the crowd before he walked into him was like, "Ponte las pilas, cabrón. Estamos cansados de comer frijoles," which means, put your batteries on, because we're tired of fucking eating beans, bro.
Hey, that's a lot of pressure.
No way.
That's a lot of pressure.
I think, but it was kind of like like he was like a jokingly kind of thing, but it just also showed where they came from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I
Ooh.
already know how hard his father sacrificed so much to be able to give them the best training possible. I'm talking about they're waking up at 5 a.m. They're gonna do 4 or 5 sessions that day.
Yeah,
they can, because they're young and their body can do it right now.
Yeah.
So, but I see them. They're at 10 Planet at 6 a.m. And then they do a bunch of training sessions, and then they go back to 10 Planet in the evening and don't leave that place until 8:30 p.m. So they're going the entire day, and their dad's just driving them everywhere. They're training at the PI with some of the best people in the world. You know, they're helping everybody. So it's like they know the sacrifice that it takes to get here and where they came from.
I believe that.
For sure.
It's like they're the Serena and Venus of MMA, you know, doing everything they need to make it happen.
You got to shout out to the Raul Rosas Jr. Real MVP. I mean, because honestly, like I'm in my other job, my side hustle, my other thing, I train people, right? I'm a personal trainer, strength conditioning coach, stuff like that. I've worked with a lot of athletes back in Utah, young athletes, you know, things like that. I've been doing this for like the last 7 years. But that's like one thing I noticed is like when I started like working more I started working in the performance space a lot, and I started working with these, young soccer players and these young football players and all they're kids still, right? They're still, I mean, the youngest I was working with was 6, anywhere up to, college kids that were back on their break or trying to get a scholarship or whatever else, right? So, and I noticed that like, professional athletes are built more than they are born. And what I mean by that is like everybody tells you the story when you want. So it is a story that got told to me, and if I would have listened to it, I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys. But neither would Cynthia, I bet, and neither would probably any of us. But the story of like, like, oh, you're a born athlete or you're not. Like you're like either the best out, like you just like walk out the womb and you just can like run this 4-4 and you can do all this stuff, or like you're never gonna make it, bro. It's like this story that gets told to you, and the reality of it is that most of us I mean, don't get me wrong, some people just are born without the genetic cards to do the high level athletics. But honestly, I would say that probably half of people have the genetics. It's just about culturing it in the right way, right? It's like getting the right work at the right age with the right people and the right opportunities, resources around you to make it happen. It might only be 5-10% of these professional athletes that are legitimately just like born and they're just going to make it regardless.
Right. Yeah, for
right.
Sure.
So
yeah,
like,
sure.
The majority of the guys that are on anybody's roster are people who've worked really hard to be there. Right.
100%.
So that being said, I've seen like super dads in action that just are willing to do anything it takes. I mean, I've got one right now, a friend of mine, George Armena. If you listen to this, shout out to you, bro. You are the super dad I'm talking about. But a dad that's just like so willing to do anything it takes. I mean, they'll freaking mortgage the house if it means the kid gets into the right camp with the right coach. You know what I mean? They'll fly him across the world on a loan if they have to. You know what I mean? Like whatever it takes, they're gonna do to get that kid that opportunity. So that being said, I just think it's cool. Like anytime I meet people like that, and you like you're talking to the family, you can't have a 17-year-old UFC fighter without something like that.
Support, that back.
That doesn't happen.
They have to have that back.
Like,
yeah.
Which is cool. It's amazing. Like
and thank you so much. That was, man, your story, Mitch. If you guys don't know about Mitch's story, his story is, I actually, Mitch and I were roommates, and we would, it sounds weird, but we would literally, I would lay in one bed on the other side of the room, he would lay on the other bed, and like he's telling me about his childhood and his upbringing and just stuff that he's been through, and I'm just like, man, that's similar to me, but man, yours is way crazier. Like just his, and I appreciate just how humble you are with everything that you've been through, and like I said, if you guys don't know about Mitch, ask him about his story, and you will be inspired. That's all I gotta say. Y'all heard the buzzing in the background. That was my phone telling me that we gotta wrap it up. So guys, it was a pleasure having you guys.
It was fun.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah. For real, I love y'all energy, man. I hope you guys come back again. And we are here right now with my man, Mitch Ramirez, Cynthia Calvillo, Doni King, and Sky Sinclair. And this is Gwaan Podcast. And if you don't know, now you know. Gwaan means what's up in Jamaican.
All right.
Thanks,
all right now.
Thanks,
yeah. I forgot I said